Hello. Today we're going to be going over two songs that I produced and mixed by the wonderful band Camino. We recorded it last year in 2022, and it was incredible. I thought I'd go over a little bit of the songs today, do a little video breakdown of it, and yes, I hope you enjoy. So the first song is So Far, and I thought that it would be cool to kind of go through some aspects of it.
And what will it take as it finds the way back home? And what would it take?
So the first little cool thing I want to dive into is this part right here. I think this is super cool because it literally sounds like somebody's voice, like, ah! But it's literally just Chase, like, sliding down on his guitar. I think it's really cool. I'm going to solo it out really quick. So I'm pretty sure that that's just the slide guitar with a bunch of distortion on it. I'm pretty sure that it is this dirt plugin right here. Even though it's not on this track, I did use it on the Pro Tools track. So I already bounced that down. So pretty much I produce in Pro Tools, at least for this song, and then I mixed in Reaper. On to the next part.
And what would it take to be with you?
So another thing is they were having a lot of trouble figuring out what type of like guitar lead or melodic element they wanted to put in the intro, and they were having a really hard time with it. I remember we tried like 4 different guitar parts with Chase just doing different leads, and ironically enough, I ended up on this. And the ironic part is that it went through this, the Electric Sunburst Deluxe guitar. I'm pretty sure that I just had it on melody. I'm not too sure what setting I had, but literally just programming in those notes, and then I threw it through the dirt plugin. The next thing I should probably go over is the drums. So this was actually probably the second or third revision that I did for the mix. So the first time I did it was a very, very clean pop punk style, just because that's my roots. And I remember showing it to Josh, and he said, "Hey man, we really like it. It just sounds a little too clean for us." So I said, "Oh, okay. So what do you think would work better for you guys?" So he took me out into his car and showed me the song "You Look Like Death" by Gender Roles. And I was like, all right, cool, say less. And the drums in that song is just very dirty. And I remember coming into the studio and I started mixing the drums again, and I just started putting a bunch of random things on the drum bus. And I remember saying to him, like, dude, I'm going to be honest, I've never done anything like this on drums before, or mixing or anything like that. And he was very happy about that. But it was kind of just to get a very different product that I've never gotten before. So let's go through the drum bus. So if I take all the plugins off, this is what that sounds like. So I believe I started off with Soothe, just trying to get any weird low resonances out. Then I put on the Decapitator, giving it a lot of that drive. Threw some compression on top of that as well. The mix wave, then I threw this germanium boost pedal on. I was using that a lot at the time. And I used the console one for mixing, and I'm pretty sure I'm just bringing a little bit of the sustain down so it'd be a little bit more dry. Next, another use of Soothe, making sure that I just got all the super high and harsh frequencies out of there. And then last one was probably the most weirdest one, was the Spiff plugin. So I know you're probably thinking why I didn't just use a normal transient designer, and something about this is just telling me that it's not just taking the full signal down, it's kind of doing it in each and every part. So I'm not too sure if that's what it's doing or if I could have just put literally any transient designer on here, but I'm pretty much just putting this on cut. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I listened to that Gender Roles album that they showed me, it seemed like the drums had like this very roomy sound. And when you think of roomy, you don't really hear the detail going on where you hear like the pop of the snare drum and the kick. So this is kind of just cutting the transients down and making it sound more roomy. And the only thing else that was different was this drum bus part right here. So that's just for the second verse right there, and that was actually what the drums originally sounded like without all the dirty samples and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure I'm just using this gain reduction on the lo-fi setting to give it that telephone effect, and doesn't look like I'm doing anything on the console one.
Reach the shore.
Moving on to bass, I think this is one of the coolest things of this project that we did. So just pay attention to the bass and the verse going into the chorus. I actually stole that trick from Eric Valentine from the video where he's going over the project he did with Taking Back Sunday. He pretty much doubles the bass and puts it through a PV5150, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And when you pan it left and right, it just makes that really cool grungy sound. Let's check that out. So I had Josh just play the very simple part of that, while under that he is doing this. So I think that's a really cool trick because it's not just the guitars making that huge overdriven sound, but it is a lot of the bass tone.
Don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice.
So onto the guitars now a little bit. I think that this clean guitar is really cool, and the reason I think it's so cool is because this is what it sounded like before. And then after. So that was one thing that the boys did not want, was a clean sounding record. And I said, all right, done. It's going to be very dirty. So this is a lot more dirty than what I'm used to doing. So that is kind of the driving clean guitar throughout the entire song. And then on top of that, we have a couple other layers of that same part. That one is called Dirt. I'm pretty sure I'm just putting it through that Dirt plugin again. And this one is probably one of my favorite parts. So while producing this song, I remember saying to Chase, I said, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the cabinet off on my Kemper as we're recording guitars. And I said, I just want you to play like one note and like kind of bend it so you kind of get like that squeal. And I feel like that was just it turned out really good for this part of the chorus because it's just a consistent squeal that you kind of just hear the whole time. And I don't know, I think it's really cool. And then, of course, the turnaround part. Now, I forget what effect is on that for the tremolo. I don't know if that's necessarily just a tremolo or if it's a rotary speaker. I feel like it was a pedal possibly that we use on the Kemper. I'm not too sure, but I think it's a really cool effect. The last part of guitars that I almost forgot about is this part during the second verse. So again, I'm pretty sure I bounce this down this way in Pro Tools, but pretty much Chase is playing two separate guitar parts, and I pan them left and right, kind of just to give it a more interesting feel for the second verse. I also want to say Chase from Camino Kid is such a freaking phenomenal guitar player. I cannot get over how killer he is. I remember one of the first times I was tracking him playing guitar, I was just so blown away by how freaking good he is. So freaking shout out to Chase. I would say his last name, have no idea how to pronounce it. So yeah, on to vocals. So Josh is an incredible vocalist, and when we were recording the vocals, I remember one thing I kept saying to him. I said, hey, listen, man, it sounds really good right now, but I need you to sing it as if you were drunk. And I'm not too sure what he did to get into that headspace, but this is his attempt at sounding drunk. And I think it gave the song a lot of vibe and character.
And what will it take as it finds the way back home? And what would it take to be with you?
And this, I'm pretty sure it's kind of a normal chain besides the decapitator and this chorus effect. I think I just kind of threw that on to give it even more vibe, which is super cool. And then for the lead vocal and the chorus, it might be a bit different.
You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice.
And then Chase is recording, and then Chase is doing harmonies on this as well.
You don't even notice.
It's a high harmony.
You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice.
Now, I'm pretty sure at the end of the song, that harmony is probably the loudest throughout the entire song. And that's probably one of my favorite harmonies on this part because I just love that super like mid-rangey vocal that kind of like hits you in the face a little bit. So I like that harmony that Chase did a lot.
You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice.
He also did that high harmony. So Chase is doing all the harmonies here, and then Josh is just kind of doing his own doubles.
You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even...
So for the doubles, I'm pretty sure that I baked in this delay effect while I was in Pro Tools. I wish I knew what it was. Probably just an Echo Boy Jr. That's what I typically use for most of the time, but I think it has that really cool like slapback delay on here.
You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice.
And the only processing I put on it was this overstayer MAS and this de-esser, which is really cool. Next part is the ad-libs. I kind of wanted it to make it sound like Chase was in a certain space or like in a room as he's kind of yelling this during the second verse.
What would it take to reach the shore?
I think it's funny because I'm pretty sure Josh is like singing just in the background. If you could hear his low, sure. Listen to this one part.
What would it take to reach the shore?
I think that's super cool. And then Chase sings it again at this part.
I'm looking so far away, so
and then all of the vocals together now.
I've been looking so far away, so far. You don't even notice. You don't even wait to watch it burn. You don't even notice. You don't even notice as it turns. You don't even notice, do you? You don't even notice. You don't even notice, do you? You don't even notice.
And I think the only thing as far as like percussion or synths or anything really that I put throughout the song is really just the shakers right here.
You don't even notice.
The shakers and the tambourines just to give it that driving force in the song. And I believe this is everything on So Far. So let's go to the next track, My Luck. A little fun fact about the intro is that the first guitars and bass are actually from their original demo. There are some times where you record the new things and you get what is called demo-itis. And going back and forth, I thought that there was just a certain type of magic that Josh and Chase captured in the demo that we just weren't really getting. So the first part, while the radio noise is playing, that's actually their demo, and then it actually goes into the guitars that we recorded. So check this out.
I was picking the pieces.
So that is the intro. Again, just like So Far, Chase and Josh were having a lot of trouble figuring out what they wanted for an intro. So we had a couple of different ideas before we put that radio noise in. So before we actually called a bunch of Josh's friends, I'm pretty sure, and put them on speakerphone, put it up to a microphone, and asked them what their thoughts were on life. And that was an original idea. So you could check that out right now.
There's no rules. Do what you want. Live your life. Let them judge you.
Find something that makes you want to get up in the morning and then fucking...
That being said, Atlas will be once again offer a coping mechanism for which you show.
Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out in the end.
And if they don't, that ain't your problem. You got bigger things to focus on. And that's just living.
I was picking.
So yeah, we had that as the original intro for a while, and then they put something else last second, and I remember that was the one time that I don't often do this, but there's a few times as a producer where you kind of just sit back and say, okay, this is their art. They could do what they want to do, but then they had this idea before where Josh was talking about a dream he had, and he kind of like pitched down his voice, and I do remember kind of saying to the guys like, hey, listen, you guys, I love you, love your ideas. I don't think this is a great idea. Can we try something different? And I'm pretty glad that I spoke up, because I think that the intro is a lot better now. And yeah, so on to the next part, the drums. So again, I did something that I've never done before, still haven't done it to this day, and I probably should, because I love the way that these drums turned out. But let's see what I did here. I actually have two drum buses, and this dirty bus consists of a decapitator, a black box, spiff, 1176, and a console one. So let's see what that sounds like alone. And this is what that drum bus sounds like with no plugins on it. So the vibe here was definitely dirty drums, and I am so glad that they kind of pushed me to do something that I've never done before, because this sounds 10 times better than anything I would have came up with on my own. So shout out to artists that push producers, because sometimes we need it to get outside of our own head, our own box. But yeah. So throughout the song, these pads kind of play, and you don't really hear them until the chorus. So let me play it going from the verse into the chorus. Dang, I forgot how freaking good that sounds. Wow. The cool part about this is this was kind of a last second decision. I remember I usually don't do this, so after I put all the files into Reaper and I started mixing it, I still felt like there's something missing in the chorus, and I thought it'd be cool to put a pad in there. But I think this just sounds so cool, and this is what it sounds like all together in the song.
My luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, moving free. They want to be a part of this divisible dream.
Super cool. I feel like it gives it a lot of vibe, a lot more feel, and it just makes it kind of makes it feel a little eerie, you know? So really love that pad. Onto the second verse is when Chase's vocals start coming in as harmonies.
He turned into me. I was picking the pieces. I was leaving him speechless when he turned into me. I was making the imprint even if I was different when he turned into me. Even if I was different when he turned into me. I was picking the pieces. I was leaving him speechless when he turned into me. I was making the imprint even if I was different when he turned into me.
So that part, it goes from, who knows, 50 to 100, 20 to 100, I don't know. But this is a very crucial part of the song, and I worked super hard to make sure that this song just felt as big as possible during this part. And through a lot of time working on the guitar tones, the bass tones, balancing it. And then Mike Calagian, the mastering engineer, did a lot to bring this to life as well. I was just so happy with the outcome of this, because it just goes from the song where it's awesome, you're feeling it, and then boom, like it just hits you in the face, and the breakdown, and it's so good. So let's check out some of the elements that make that part so big. Again, I'm kind of doing the same thing that I did on So Far, where the bass gets super huge. So I'm doing the whole pan thing again. That is probably one of my favorite tricks. If you are having a hard time getting a song to sound really big, and it's a song that kind of sounds like this, definitely try that. Just double the bass, throw it through a 5150, and boom, there you have it. Sounds amazing. There were a lot of layers as well when it came to guitars. I'm pretty sure that most of them were through the Kemper, and one of them was through like the Marshall amp simulator that Softtube has. I'm not too sure which one it is for sure, but I'm pretty sure that I threw that on and I thought it sounded so good, so I kind of just left it on. So here's all the different guitar tones. So that's what the guitars sound like separately and now all together.
My luck, I would.
Now with all the guitars and the bass together. Now all the guitars and the bass together. This part is also super cool, the guitar feedback right here. So now that I soloed that out, I'm pretty sure that I had Chase scream into his guitar, and that's what got it to feedback like that. I've done this a couple times now. It's super hard to get feedback when you have a Kemper, but if you get right into, like, if you hold the guitar up and you just freaking scream into the pickups, you can get it to feedback like that. And I'm pretty sure that's what Chase and I did, or I had Chase do. But that part's super cool. You can kind of just hear it going into, it kind of is the transition to that part.
It's different when he turned into me.
We also have the swell that goes into it. And this is what the drums sound like when everything just goes all crazy. And I did even more weird things on the drum bus. So when this kicks in, the transient designer actually pulls the sustain out a little bit so the cymbals aren't too crazy and it sounds a little bit more dry and tamed. And I also have this fat compressor, and I'm just kind of boosting some areas with spiff, the low end, and yeah, and soothe, of course, just to make sure that everything isn't too crazy. Yeah, those drums sound freaking killer, and I'm super proud of them. So this part is super cool right before it gets even bigger, and it's the full breakdown. I'm pretty sure I had Chase do a couple different takes of doing like the, I don't even know where you put your fingers on the guitar, either like the 5th fret or the 12th fret, where you kind of just like try to get that pinch harmonic. And he did it 2 different times, so you can kind of hear it going back left and right. So check this out.
We'll do it all again.
And then Chase does a little guitar lead right here as well. And then there's Chase screaming again into his guitar pickup. So the last part that I want to go over for today is the vocals at the last part as they're all singing My Luck. So there was something that happened in the studio as we were recording this part. So I've never felt this before, like with any other person or any other band, any artist. So as we were recording vocals, I remember I had Josh sing the higher part, the higher octave of the My Luck part, and he has a very, low vocal range. So this was a little bit out of his comfort zone for him, but I don't know what it was. But as he was like screaming it, I literally felt his emotions, and I hope that you could hear it too, feel it when I solo it. But I just remember him singing it, and I literally felt his emotion in the room, and I almost cried. I take that back. I'm pretty sure I did tear up a little bit. And I remember he just kind of finished his take and was like, all right, I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. And he left, and I was like, dude, I don't know what just happened. And I remember saying that to Chase. I was like, dude, he was holding a lot in, and he just released all of it. And man, this is why I love producing so much. I love people just pouring their absolute heart and soul into their art, and getting to be a part of it is just such a cool and amazing thing. So yeah, let's check out these last vocal takes.
My luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. My luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. My luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, we'll do it all again.
Oh, freaking chills, dude. I haven't listened to that forever. Oh my gosh. And I know people probably thinking that I ruined it with auto-tune. That was kind of just to make it so it wouldn't sound off as he was singing it, because this is more of like a texture thing than it is like a pitch and tone thing, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't throw anything off as you turn it up. But yeah, literally, I mean, just listen to those last few measures of him just screaming my luck. You could just literally feel just the pain in his voice, and it is so powerful. It's something like I've never captured before.
My luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, we'll do it all again.
Man, crazy. On to the next part before I start crying.
With my luck.
So I remember with Chase, they wanted to kind of do this thing where, he keeps saying my luck over and over again. And throughout the last part, they kind of wanted to make it sound like it's just kind of fading out like a telephone effect. And I believe this is that.
With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. All again. With my luck, with my luck, with my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, with my luck, with my luck, we'll do it all again.
So yeah, that was something that was really cool. It's kind of like Chase is like singing it, and then it kind of like flies out into the atmosphere, and then it kind of like focuses it all in again, and it kind of just like slowly fades away. I think that part is really cool.
All again with my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, we'll do it all again. All again with my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. My luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck,
And here are all of those vocals soloed.
With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, I wouldn't bet on a plan. With my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, luck, my luck, my luck, we'll do it all again. With my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, my luck, we'll do it all again.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was My Luck by Camino Kid, and so far. I hope you enjoyed this video of the production breakdown, and please let me know if you want to see anything else. Thank you for watching.